topic, obviously, and it's been a pleasure to connect with you over the years, and I'm happy to do this too.
And you remember I told you during the dry run that I'm going to mention this uh, during our session, that you were the first person I reached out to along with Julie Hansen, that this is an idea I want to pursue. Would you be interested in coming and speaking? And once you green lighted it, that's when, like, all enthusiasm, I went out. And of course we have a great lineup of speakers today. And the fact, I'm going to read that in your bio as well, but the fact, the only person I know in the world who has sent out 15,000 messages himself, which is
Yeah, I had a
unbelievable.
long time. I got a jump start on a lot of people. I've been doing it for a long time.
That is even more remarkable, actually, if you think about it. How many can actually do that for a long period of time? uh, I will quickly give a brief overview of who you are and what you are doing, and then I'll let you continue with your session. Ethan Butte is chief evangelist at Follow Up Boss, Wall Street Journal bestselling author of Human Centered Communication and Rehumanize Your Business, and host of Chief Evangelist, Real Estate Team OS, and the Customer Experience podcasts. And he has sent, as I mentioned, more than 15,000 video messages himself. In his session today, Ethan will help us get clear on the realities that keep us apart from our prospects and customers, get solutions to overcoming them, including video messaging, and get past the biggest problem with video prospecting. Ethan, over to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I'm going to a slide deck. I'm going to be moving pretty fast. I'll try to save some time for Q&A because that's generally one of the most useful aspects of any one of these situations. But I'm going to go to slides here. And again, the session is called Human-Centered Communication, Today's Path to Tomorrow's Revenue. There are things we need to be thinking about and doing today if we are to have the privilege of being in conversation with people tomorrow. I'm going to open with a super compelling case study that I did when I was at BombBomb. I was at BombBomb for almost a dozen years full time. And this was a BDR team inside one of the big four professional services firms. Used to be the big four accounting firms. And they have these BDR teams, and they would do these cycles of outreach, like in a vertical focus. And they've been doing them a number of times. And so when we introduced some video messaging into what they had been doing over and over and over again, typically a blend of emails, text messages, LinkedIn messages, voicemails, when they mix videos in, these are some of the results. So average touches to generate initial lead response, right? How many times we need to reach out before we get that initial reply? No matter whether it's positive or negative, or it moves forward or it doesn't. Initial average touches to initial reply, it was 10 in all the cycles they had been doing previously. But when they mixed in video messages, it only took 3 touches to generate that initial reply. So that's a 70% reduction in activities to initial reply. The overall response rate across these campaigns, in the traditional method that they had run, again, many, many times before, it was 15% of people that they were prospecting, again, on a vertically oriented basis for a wider range of, professional consulting and technology services. It was double, more than double with videos at 33%. 1 in 3 people replied when video was included in the outreach sequence. And I don't mean that as the product. I just mean that as in terms of outreach, not outreach, the product. Conversion rate. This is a qualified appointment set. That's conversion in this BDR team study. Within their traditional methods, 6%, 67% higher. 4 points on 6 is a 67% increase. It was 10% with video. So dramatic improvements by mixing video messages in. One of the BDR team leaders' most exciting things that he shared with us was that because they were getting more responses overall, getting responses faster and converting at a higher rate, they were pulling their pipeline and closed won revenue forward by an average of about 6 months, which means you pull that revenue forward, you can actually run these cycles more often. So super, super effective. The thing that pleased me the most was this intangible outcome that they shared with us, which was that even the no was better. Very often, especially if anyone on this is actively doing cold prospecting, that some of the no's are impolite. You're always happy to get it because at least it's a signal of some kind. But in this case, it was no and, no but, and they were getting intelligence that would allow them to reach back out more at a better time or with more insights or these types of things. So even the no's were better. So again, my name is Ethan Butte. I've done a number of things. Some of them are on the screen. If you have any questions about anything I'm sharing here, check out my link tree. That's all the places that I am. It's just linktree / Ethan Butte, or you can hit me up on LinkedIn. BEUTE is my last name. And I already got a nice intro. So why is video in that BDR case study so effective? Well, I'll give you a few reasons. These are the hard realities that we're living with as we're trying to do sales and marketing and outreach in 2023 and beyond here at the end of 2023. You're forced to sell and serve virtually. Of course, the pandemic dramatically accelerated it. At some level, it was inevitable anyway, but we have to try to connect and communicate with other human beings digitally, virtually, and online, which is not where we're at our best. Most of our outreach is geared toward getting on a face-to-face meeting, whether that's in person or on a video presentation platform, Zoom or similar, because we're better eye-to-eye, face-to-face. So in the scenario where you're forced to do this virtually, video restores you. You are your own best differentiator. It restores a human element. It includes things like emotion and tone, these things that are missing from so much of our faceless digital communication. The problem is these channels in which we're trying to connect and communicate are noisy and polluted. They're noisier than ever and more polluted than ever. We regard noise as benign, and there's a lot in chapter 1 of human-centered communication on this. Noise is relatively benign. It's just the sheer volume of stuff. Pollution is the stuff that very clearly distracts us from what we intend to do. It's annoying. It's frustrating. Sometimes it's even dangerous. Malware, phishing schemes, cyber attacks. Is this link safe to download, or is it going to, is this attachment safe to download, or is it going to install malware? Is this link safe to click? Is this email even from who it says it's from? As we're trying to reach out to people, even if we're forthright, upstanding, wonderful people with 4.9 stars on a whole bunch of reviews, we're arriving amid all this other stuff. So especially in a prospecting scenario where people don't know you, maybe don't even know your brand name, you're arriving amid all this noise and pollution, and our default safe position is ignore, delete, move on. So that adds an additional challenge to what we're doing. How do we stand out from that? And then ultimately, digital communication is impoverished. I stole this language from Dr. Nick Morgan, a communication expert, fantastic dude. He's written a couple fantastic books as well, several actually, but 2 that I'm thinking of in particular. He refers to digital communication as impoverished because it's visually impoverished and emotionally impoverished. It's missing, it's absolutely lacking what human beings need to make good, safe, healthy choices about whether or not to proceed. Period. We look to each other's eyes. We look to each other's faces. We don't just listen to the words people are saying. We listen to the way that they're saying it. We're wondering, is this a safe thing to do? That's it, like a basic evolutionary psychology of the human being. And in a digital environment, not only are we forced to do it this way, but these channels are noisy and polluted, and we're going into this battle ill-equipped for what we're up against. And video messages help close that gap. So that's one of the reasons why that case study is real. And you see these types of results when you use video well, but there's a big but. There's a problem with video prospecting. And I'm going to add a little bit of a nuance to it. In general, I just think it's abused, like a lot of other prospecting things. I think video messaging is how we should be communicating in email, text messages, LinkedIn messages, other social DMs, Slack messages a lot more often. But the problem with video prospecting is we're not adapting the message to the medium. We're just taking the same crappy scripts and the same crappy emails and the same undisciplined communication. In a lot of cases, not all of it is this way. I know that I'm being a little bit over the top about this, but I want to draw it out a little. We're just taking it, we're just putting in a video and thinking the video is going to be the magic. Video messaging is not magic. Video prospecting is not magic. Adding personalization, I put that in quotes on purpose, that isn't meaningful. First and foremost, if you don't remember anything else, relevance always trumps personalization. Relevance to the people we're trying to connect and communicate with trumps personalization. I don't care if you know what college I went to. I don't care if you even slug my name in there. If you're speaking my language, if you're speaking to a problem that I have, if you're using the language that I use, that's relevance. And that is what's going to get my attention. Personalization is just kind of a nice to have. I'll just give you a quick example because I just received it. I blurred out the dude's name and his face up top. I blurred out his face down below in the little bubble in the screen recording. LinkedIn connection request, no message. I accept it. I accept a lot of people. I would be happy to accept your message as well, but please don't cold pitch me in an irrelevant way. Great to connect. I filmed you a quick video. By the way, we do not film video. We record video. Film is film. Film is film. We record video. There's no film involved. Anyway, look forward to hearing your thoughts. So as you can see here, my name is in the title of the video, and you can see my LinkedIn profile there. And actually, video scrolls up and down. The problem is the video, the little talk bubble over top of it, he doesn't say my name. He doesn't talk at all about anything on my LinkedIn profile. It's a canned video. So he's got some software, perhaps it's involved in Leadify, which is on the screen here, where you record a video once and you can automatically fake someone's LinkedIn profile scrolling up and down behind you on the video. And it's just it's a parlor trick. It's a gimmick. This is the problem with video prospecting. There was no reason to put my LinkedIn profile on the screen because he didn't close any gaps for me. Why are you reaching out to me? Why am I on your target list? What is it about me or my background or my experience or what's going on in my life that makes you reach out with whatever you're offering me? None of that was there. There was zero relevance whatsoever, and it was fake personalization. It's just, it's a misuse of the opportunity. So ultimately, video prospecting doesn't solve our real prospecting challenges, which is how do we get in front of the right people in a relevant way? That's it. How do we add relevance to what we're doing and communicate that against noise and pollution? And I'll tell you, synthetic media and artificial videos do not solve this problem. I'm sure there are other people, and I'm not demeaning any of it at all. I'm just saying if you do it without relevance, you're wasting your time and your money. And you're burning opportunities. I'll get to that in just a moment. Synthetic media and artificial videos do not solve this problem. Your problem isn't that you can't record enough videos in a day to do all the video prospecting you want to do. The problem is we're working off poorly structured messages and arguments and ideas. We're working off poorly targeted lists. We're favoring quantity over quality. These are the problems. And so my caution on video prospecting is that it's not about video. It's about good prospecting. And this is a way to add a human touch to the prospecting that you're doing. And it can be super, super powerful when you do it well. Fundamental issue that I have as someone who is super excited about video messages as a way to connect and communicate in any position, in any seat in the house for years and even decades to come, in place of some of our faceless typed out text, is that bad video prospecting is training the world not to watch any video messages at all. And you think about some of the other channels that have already been burned by sales and marketing in general over the years. I know I'm being a little bit unfair about that, but there's also truth in it. The more videos that someone gets that pretend to be something that they're not and turn out to be shallow personalization and irrelevant, the more we're training people, oh, that's what these videos are for, when in fact, video can be about so much more than that. By the way, I have on the screen here an episode, Customer Experience Podcast. I hosted 271 of those episodes. Probably 15 or 20 of them were self episodes where I spent 10, 15, 20 minutes sharing an idea about video email, video messaging, video prospecting, etc. So that's episode 181 of the Customer Experience Podcast. If you want to check that one out, the problem with video prospecting. Here's the deal. You'll hear a lot of people say something like attention is the currency of the economy. Man, if I just could get more attention. And we do need attention. But if we go into this, including video prospecting and video messaging, seeking attention only, we're going to do these parlor tricks and gimmicks, and we're not going to get what we want because we're not giving anyone else what they want. Ultimately, I would argue that trust is the currency of the economy. Trust is grease. Trust is glue. Trust makes good things and good people stick. It's glue, but it's also grease. It makes things go faster. Reference to Stephen Covey's The Speed of Trust on that. So I'm not going to go through this whole map. I'll just tell you that until you get to that green path on the left side of being recognized as familiar, recognized as trusted, demonstrating warmth and then competence, the two criteria by which every social judgment is made, then delivering some value and building more trust, until you get into that path, every other path on this, it leads to ignore or delete. Okay. a lot here, but the idea is, if you want someone to open your second email, if you want someone to play your next video, if you want someone to actually listen to your voicemail and return your call, if you want someone to reply to your LinkedIn message, if you want someone to do anything at all in these digital channels that are typically faceless, you need to lead with a trust-based approach. You need to have that in mind. That's the goal. The goal isn't just the attention. Attention is just a necessary precursor to everything good in this world, right? And by the way, we should give it as a gift to other people too. I think that's the reason we have so much loneliness and social discord, is that we're not giving people undivided attention and actively listening to them. So this is key. And the problem today is, this is why I call it today's path to tomorrow's revenue. If we're not thinking this way right now, and we're taking a new tool like video, and starting to prospect with it, but we're doing it in a lazy way, some of the ways I've already characterized, and we're not thinking this way, we're training human beings that we are not worth their time and attention because we don't value it. We're not giving them a return on their time and attention. We're so busy thinking ourselves about an ROI on our spend and on our time. Did I get a return on my investment of time? Instead of thinking first about what is the return on someone else's time and attention. And when we think that way, we're training them that we value them and that we could be useful to them in the future. So we get that second open, we get that second play, we get that fifth play, we get that return phone call, we get that appointment set, and they actually show up for it. That's how this stuff works. And if we don't approach it that way, then we're not going to get what we want in the end. So the bigger problem here is that the machines that are being trained to deal with the noise and pollution in the digital environment, we're all going to have a digital assistant, whatever we end up calling it, to sort through our stuff and to say, look at this, look at this, look at this, reply to this, reply to this, reply to this. The more all these channels get increasingly noisy and polluted, the more we're going to rely on machines to filter it and surface the best things for us. And the problem is, we're training people today on the data that's going to tell the machines how to treat you and your outreach in the future. So if you're not valuing people's time and attention today, the machines are not going to value you and prioritize you in the future. You're killing your future opportunities if you're not thinking this way and acting this way today. I've got 11 minutes left, so I'll move through this one really quickly. If you're not familiar with Jocko Vanderkoy of Winning by Design, I absolutely recommend following him. He's featured in Chapter 3 of Human-Centered Communication. This is essentially a modified version of the bow tie funnel that Winning by Design teaches and basically runs their business off of. You're familiar with acquisition, awareness, and education on the left. That is the prospecting and opportunity generation process. Then we moved into selection. People make some commitment. We onboard them. We deliver initial impact, and then we grow with them in a growth loop, right? HubSpot calls this the flywheel. Other people do too. Winning by Design calls it the growth loop. The whole goal is to move people through this process, and video is useful at literally every single stage of this relationship with a customer. Some of you might be full cycle sellers and you're responsible for all of this with a particular set of accounts. You can use video messages in a variety of ways, and I'll help you figure out when, where, and how to do that in just a moment. But across this whole journey, especially in prospecting, but across this whole journey, there are points of friction and failure where things slow down and they stop. And so a sales leader needs to focus on, gosh, why aren't we getting people from this stage to this stage? We have good conversion in the beginning, but we're missing, that second stage of conversion leading up to the selection or commitment process, whatever. When we look at the places where we're slowing down and we're not getting the results that we want, it's because of some of the things that I'm putting on the bottom of the screen here. We're not getting the attention that we need. We're not building trust. People are looking at it and they like it and they trust it, but it's just not a high enough priority right now. There's a lack of confidence. Like, I believe all this stuff and it's a big deal, but I don't believe that you're the one that can get it done for me. Lack of clarity. It's complex subject matter. A lot of us are representing complex ideas and products and services. It's hard to understand. And then the big bucket of anxiety, uncertainty, and indecision. These are the reasons that people don't move forward. Right? It's not because we're not using the right tools. It's not because we're not using the right tech. It's because we're not reaching people in a way that checks these boxes and helps people feel good, safe, confident, comfortable to move forward. And when you look at these things on the screen, attention, trust, priority, confidence, clarity, uncertainty, indecision, etc., these are human issues These are emotional issues. These are communication issues. And I would propose to you that no matter what part of the sales funnel and customer journey you're responsible for, you can add video messages to overcome some of these things, because it is not emotionally or visually impoverished. In fact, it's emotionally and visually rich. It communicates much more effectively than so many of the tools that we're relying on right now. So this was a big issue when Steve and I wrote Human-Centered Communication. Again, I think it's in the chat as a free digital copy. We borrowed human-centered communication. We borrowed from the 40-year-old practice of human-centered design. IDEO is the design firm that is generally regarded as the longest adherent proponent practitioner of human-centered design. And it happens at the intersection of three things: what's viable for your business, what's feasible with technology, and what's desirable for humans. In other words, what are the requirements for business success? And prospecting, it's number of contacts, reply rate, appointments set, appointments held, et cetera, these types of things. What do we actually want? What is business success? Then what does technology allow us to do? Of course, technology is cheaper and more powerful than ever on average. And then what do people actually need and want? What do people need? The problem is, especially in prospecting, but in general, we start with what we want. What is business success? And then we go to the possibilities of technology, and we operate here. And this is where we're doing things that are burning our own reputation, that we're getting a 2.5% response rate, and we're just psyched because that's up from 2%, and we're ignoring the fact that in that scenario, 98 or 97.5% of people have said no to us. Some of that is ignore, delete, block, unsubscribe, blocking an entire domain. We will never be able to reach anyone at that company again. We're ignoring all of that, and we're just high-fiving because we moved it from 2% to 2.5%. All we need to do to be more human-centered is to shift to the middle, and all that requires is to start with what people need and want. Who are the people we're trying to reach? What do we understand about them? Why are we using this language? Why are these people on our prospecting list at this time with this opportunity? When we start there, everything goes better. What does it look like? This comes from chapter 2 of the book. It's just a basic, simple table. Being someone who was in video email and video messaging as early as 2011 and being very customer facing, I got questions on the left all the time. Why didn't she open my email? Why didn't he reply? Why didn't they play my video? Bonus points for being curious and wanting to be better. But this is backward looking, and it's about you. It's reactive as well. Why didn't I get what I want? Instead, the human-centered approach just goes upstream before you type a single word, before you set up that automation sequence, before you record your canned dropped voicemail, before you record a single second of video. Why would she? Why would he? Why would they? Think about the future. Think about the recipient. Give the recipient a return on their time and attention. If you do, you will be rewarded in kind. I know this is very easy to understand. It's almost cliche, but it's very, very true, and it's always worth a reminder. So a few video messaging tips here, and then I'll wrap up. Send video when you need to send video. Don't send video because you have a video tool. Send video when you need to send video. The 3 things to look for: 1, personal connection, establishing or reestablishing personal connection. That's why it's so powerful in prospecting. You're establishing some form of personal connection. Emotion and tone. When you have a message that has a positive charge or kind of a negative charge: thank you, good job, congratulations, positive charge. I'm sorry, I have bad news, I need to apologize. That's kind of a negative charge. Anytime there's emotion that's difficult to capture in text, consider doing it in a video, only if you're sincere. If you don't actually mean what you're saying, don't send a video, because that'll come through. Humans can read that off you a mile away, and it's really, really frustrating and annoying, and people like you less when you are insincere. Third one is detail or complexity. If you need to answer a question or you need to teach an idea, whether it's a screen recording where you kind of show and tell, or whether it's just you as a talking head, the expert on the topic, answering the question, it's going to be easier for you and better for the recipient in a lot of cases to break down detail or complexity by sending a video. Never send a video alone. This happens all the time. I see it all the time. Always add 1 line of text before the video and 1 line of text after the video. The line of text before the video compels someone to play the video. You're either teasing or you're actually promising a specific piece of value in the, hey, you're going to want to check this out because I give you 2 reasons why blah, blah, blah. Or that type of thing, right? 2 ways to think about the question that you asked me in the video below, right? And then below the video, you're just going to double down on whatever call to action is inside the video. This gives them the opportunity to maybe take you up on your call to action and assume they know what's in the video, even if they don't take the time to watch it. So never send a video alone. Make it connect to other touch points. Refer to the other in the one. If you're leaving, let's just say you are responsible for prospecting. You have your list, you have your tools, you have your cadence that you're supposed to do. Make your email refer to the voicemail. And your voicemail refer to the video in the email. So on the voicemail, it's like, hey, I'm going to send a personal video to your inbox. Be sure to be on the lookout for that. In the video, it's like, hey, I'm the guy that left you the voicemail the other day. Just want to put a face with the name and remind you that blah, 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 blah. Make these things work together. It's not, let's shoot 15 touch points out, contact points out, and see which one provokes the reply. They work together. That's how the other person's like, oh, I think I like. The easier you can make all of this come together in someone's mind, the better off you're going to be. So video prospecting is not about video. It's about good prospecting. It's about helping people. It's about being relevant above all. This is not about tricks. It's not about gimmicks. It's not about stealing attention. And if it is, you're playing a shallow game. You're playing a myopic game. You're not playing the long game. And you're going to teach people that you are not worth their time and attention. I know I was a little bit aggressive today, but I'm kind of fired up on the topic. Hit me up on any of the channels. You can also email me. So that's on the screen as well. And that is what I brought. I don't know if we have time for Q&A. And there's a digital book on the screen, by the way. It's a copy of Human-Centered Communication.
Yeah, quite a few have downloaded it, Ethan, already.
Awesome.
Oh, this was
Julie Hanson is one of those people.
This was so good, and you touched upon so many things that I believe so passionately. And I will not retouch those, because I think people should just sort of take it in and think about it. And I think what the biggest takeaway from this is, never forget, trust is the currency. And like you showed that example of whoever has sent you that scrolling thing. The fact that he wrote, I filmed this for you, knowing that he didn't do it, I mean, that's the biggest breach. I mean, we all talk about developing trust with customers, and that's what we go out and do. This is such a big problem. There are two.
Yeah, and some of the trap, and you'll read a lot of this tension. There's a chapter with Lauren Bailey from Factor 8 and Girls Club, and Mario Martinez Jr. from Vengresso. You'll read a lot about this tension between, a lot of people who are in these prospecting seats are just at the behest of whoever their manager is. They're essentially compelled to do these things. That's like a real challenge. I'm happy to message it with anyone about that theme or topic. I wouldn't say you need to leave your job, but if you find yourself doing these things, it's certainly worth, especially if you're using your own LinkedIn profile to do it, and that's part of the expectation. This is worth a conversation, because you need to be, there's a lot of tension here. There's no easy answers. But the lazy behavior just needs to end. Yeah.
And it's a lot of the legacy, right? As we had discussed once, that this industrial era legacy that we are bringing in, the leadership is still not shifted to the new generation. And we are bringing in that experience, and we want to just impose it, and we want to use technology to scale.
Yep.
So that's what we're using technology for, not for outcome. So 2 quick questions here, Ethan. One is on your screen.
Is there a standard way of communication for the different generations, or have there been any changes in communication patterns? That's a great question. I hear a lot of people generalize about generation. I would say that everyone is afraid of video. So a lot of people say, well, younger people, they're the TikTok, Snapchat generation. They're very comfortable being on camera. No, they're not. They're no more comfortable. There is a little bit of a personality type that rushes toward this type of thing. In terms of who is receiving and playing videos, this is, again, one of the reasons I always say add a line of text above and below your video. Make it easy for people to understand that there is a video here, that there's something in it that's for you. I think I've certainly heard feedback that in some, like if you're targeting security people or CTOs, the idea that you have an extra image and an extra link inside the email Some of those people are a little bit harder to reach. There's some personality types that don't necessarily receive it as well. But this is why we're going out multi-mode, whether it's generation or it's vertical or it's title or position, personality type, which varies by all of those factors. That's why we mix it up. And that's why as we get some type of a response, we ask, hey, what's your preferred communication channel? And if you don't have that question in any of your communication flows, it's worth including, or whatever channel they tend to respond to you on or receive you on, just assume that that's their preferred channel. So like, I hate Facebook messages. I absolutely despise them. I don't ever want to use it, but some people reach me there. I try not to validate it. I try to move it in another channel so they learn to stop messaging me there. So this is why we use phone, email, text, video, social DMs. We use these different channels to see where people prefer to be reached and what mode they prefer to communicate by. In general, I would say in the 12 years that I was very active in video messaging and video communication, especially asynchronously in recorded videos, I had users, prolific users who sent hundreds and hundreds of videos, every month or even every year or even every month, who were both, 22 and just starting their career and 64 and in the back end of their career. And the same thing on recipients as well. It's just really, again, reaching people in the channel that they prefer. And I would offer that if you reach people well with video, I don't think anyone is more or less likely to play it on any other factor besides, is this a situation that I'm interested in? Does this seem like a safe and interesting and trusted situation on its face? So I know I kind of said a lot there and I didn't give you a direct answer. My direct answer is no. I don't think it varies by age as a user or as a recipient. It's the other pieces of the context are more important than age.
One last one, Ethan, before we wrap up.
How important is timing? When are the best times to send a video message? Mornings, evenings, weekdays, weekends? Great question, Eric. There's nothing. I mean, I did this like early on when I joined BombBomb. You could send mass emails and mass video emails. It was like a MailChimp designed completely around video. And so people would ask me these things all the time. And so I remember pulling about 6 different studies and they all competed with each other in terms of the best times to send an email. The key is, again, this is why I think, this is why when I thought of like, what are the 2 or 3 things I should remind everyone to do? Make every touch point talk to the other touch point, make it feel like it's an intentional, cohesive thing so that you're calling in the day, but you're sending a video anytime you want. You're maybe social DMing evenings or weekends when people are more likely to be on social in general, unless it's LinkedIn, then I guess maybe that's a weekday. But there is no single best time to reach any one person. And that's the benefit of asynchronicity as well, is that, you can record 10 videos when it's convenient for you. And someone's going to open it 5 seconds later. Someone's going to open it 5 minutes later. Someone's going to open it 5 hours later. Someone's going to open it 5 days later. Someone's going to open it 5 weeks later. But the alerts that you get let you know when people are doing those things. And so whatever tool you're using, you should know when people are opening and engaging with what you're doing. And so you might wind up, especially if you're niched in, you might find that there is a truth within your niche. But I would say on average, when you look at like large data sets, there's no consistency in open rates, video play rates, response rates, et cetera, in terms of best day or time. I know that's unsatisfying as well, but it's the truth.
Ethan, thank you so much. And we will need to move to the next session. This was great.
Thanks for letting me go long. I super enjoyed this. It's a privilege. I love that you put this together, and I hope everyone has an awesome day with it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ethan. You have a great day too, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.